Welcome to Politics and Right. My name is Egberto Willies, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the entire United States. And of course, good morning to the entire world receiving our signals through the magic of the internet, formerly known as the ARPANET, created by whom? We, the people. Folks, today I have a special subject to discuss, and it came more into focus with what JD Vance did overseas. But before we go ahead with that, we must go to the folks who really make this stuff happen. The geniuses in El Estudio El Señor, Howard Reynolds and Jacques Van Beba.
Well, good morning, Egberto. I'm sure you enjoyed that Dave Koz song that I played there.
I
Some
love
smooth
it.
jazz from Dave Koz. Plus, I just like his name. Uh, he's got a cool name. I'm Dave Koz. Yeah, I'm a smooth jazz artist. So, okay, it is Tuesday, the 11th of February, 2025. What did that horrible embarrassment for a vice president do overseas?
Oh man, he's
I
talk
don't know
about.
what he did.
I'm going to talk about that after, but I mean, it all jives into what we're going to talk about, which is important. And I hope enough people are listening today because s- stuff is about to hit the fan without any of us really knowing, but we'll talk about it.
Oh, we're going to know about it, all right. Okay, Jack has a full page of wisdom here, so I think we should get to it.
All right. Good morning, Egberto. How are you?
I am doing fine, my brother. Talk to me.
All right. The biggest threat to American citizens and citizens of the world is the billionaire class dismantling government. The parts they're dismantling are the social services, education, environmental protection, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, anything that helps citizens they want to cut as wasteful. But wait, the government, they need government to protect them from prosecution from the illegal, immoral, criminal policies they enact and the wars of conquest the Pentagon is waging to to dominate the world, basically. You think government should be run like a corporation? Well, think again. A corporation has no compassion. Its duty is to the shareholders. A government can be compassionate to its citizens if it chooses to, or if the citizens demand it.
Jack, you bring up an interesting point that I've heard over and over and over, including local government too. We're going to run the government like we run a business. Well, you can't do that. That's like, I'm going to run a zebra in, you know,
Kentucky Derby.
in the Kentucky Derby. I'm going to run a giraffe in the Kentucky Derby. That makes just about as much sense because, you can't run government like you do a business. You cannot do it. It is absolutely impossible to do. Just like running a giraffe in the Kentucky Derby. You can't do it. It doesn't work that way. Government does not work that way.
He'd look fun. A giraffe would look really funny in the starting gate, wouldn't it?
Well, it may not even be able to get out of the starting gate. It's a little wider than a horse and a little taller too. But the fact of the matter is, you hear this over and over and over again, over and over again. We're going to run our government like we run a business with a balance sheet and a bottom line and all the rest of the stuff. You can't do that. It's a completely different animal. I mean, it's impossible to do. So don't fall for that garbage of, well, we're just going to run this like a business because you'll run it right into the ground. The
Most
government.
businesses fail within 6 months.
Well, we need some businesses to fail around here. Not this one, but some others. Aside from all that, we have taken up just enough of your time. I want to find out what this embarrassment has done this time.
Well, we're going to get into it right away, my brother. Thank you very much. And thank you guys for everything that you do. Thank you, listeners and callers that I know are going to come in today. First of all, before I get into the VP, one of the things that I remember going to a conference in New York, And I said, the reason I do, all of us are given, it was a whole bunch of us in different areas of activism getting together, people from all sides of the spectrum, both on the left, on the right, in the middle, everywhere we came together, urban, rural, all of that. And we are sitting down at a retreat in New York, upstate New York, this beautiful forest retreat, and we're sitting down talking about why we do what we do, right? And I got up when it was my time and I said one of the reasons I dedicated my life to this is because I wanted to empower folks to take their lives over and realize who they really are to the time. The guy got up and he stopped me and he said, "You don't have the power to do what's already there." In other words, all of us in America really are already empowered. All we, those of us who dedicate our lives to activism, can do is remind you, uh, enlighten you, allow you to see within yourselves that you are an empowered person, someone who already has the power to make change. The other thing you have is the power to do nothing, right? If you do nothing, you have to take whatever is given. If you realize you're already empowered and use your power, you can actually do things. And when we speak about when Jack talks about who is government going to serve, an empowered a government is we the people. An empowered people, government serves. Right now, our government is, as Jack and Howard mentioned, is serving the corporations. It is behaving like a business. And that ain't right because, again, we are the ones with the power. The vice president went overseas. First of all, today I wanted to talk about what the media is really missing. We're constantly hearing about DEI, and we sit and I write about it as well. We fight among each other about DEI. Is that person getting a benefit because of diversity, equity, and inclusion because of DEI? And we sit down and we fight about these things, right? And we sit down and we fight about textbooks and what should be taught, and we fight about all these things that are superficial when you really take a look at it. While when Donald Trump was elected, if you looked at who was sitting behind him, was all these billionaires of high tech companies. But we were busy talking about other stuff. We are busy fighting each other. We have some callers calling here and they want my neck. They want Jack's neck, Howard's neck. What are we saying? Well, look, we have to see the big picture and realize what's going on. JD Vance went across the ocean to an AI convention and he goes out there and he says, "We, America, intend to be the leaders in AI." That's fine. Everybody, I can imagine every country should get up and say, "We want to be the leader in AI." I mean, you all have your motivations. Go up and say whatever you want to say. But then he comes out and he says, he threatens countries around the world. He says, "We believe, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, we believe regulation is bad, and you countries better not attempt to regulate AI." And on the surface, that sounds like just an economic threat or something that really doesn't matter, or just something that he's spewing. But if you take a look at what Donald Trump and his minions are doing right now, it is to play bully around the world, to force people around the world to have a certain set of behaviors. I'm getting there. I want to get there. But I first want to remind everybody. you are empowered, you are already powerful, and you can change what's going to happen because this is deeper than anyone understands based on what the media is putting out right now. So he doesn't want regulations, and they're almost tempting the world, or not daring the world, to put regulations on else. In other words, they want to force the world not to put regulations onto AI. All right. And then today I'm listening to Morning Joe, and one of the hosts rightfully said, what is he talking about? Not regulating AI. It's kind of crazy. And then Richard Haas, one of our more than a diplomat out there, I can, yes, he's a neoliberal, but I can normally agree with some of what he says because it's sensible. But he comes out and says, yeah, AI is too vast to regulate, and it changes so fast. We don't need to have regulations on it, etc. And I'm like, oh my God, they've got to him too. Don't regulate AI? Are you nuts? Are you crazy? We have Musk and a whole bunch of little kids who have, quote unquote, read access to all the data in the IRS, all the data in USAID, all the data in all the agencies, all the data, quote unquote, read access, and they can absorb it into their system. And they're cutting here and there. And purportedly, they're putting this data through AI to go ahead and determine some of the things they're going to do. But let me digress a bit. There's nothing magical about AI. Look, I use AI, as a I produce my videos in real time. A lot of the videos that I play, I produce them in real time. I turn them into a transcript of the words that I put out there. I filter it through AI so that AI can go ahead and start prosing and doing certain things for me. In other words, I'm research. If I have certain links I want to get these things and get them quickly, acquire it quickly. So I do a whole lot of that. It is helpful. It's like having a researcher sitting down next to what you want to put on there. But let me explain something. That technology belongs to all of you out there. Have you ever posted something to Facebook? Have you ever written a tweet? Have you ever answered a question on Facebook? A friend of yours had an issue that they didn't understand, but you do, and you gave them an answer. And I can look up that message chain that you did and see those answers. All of you that are listening to my voice right now are funders of AI. Your knowledge base, or your on knowledge base. In other words, what you know, what you don't know, what you made an error in talking about, all of that creates an online body of not only who you is, but who America is, who the world is. So all that data is out there. And what AI does, these algorithms do, is they take a data set, and because a supercomputer can work much faster than the milliseconds that electronics work in your brain, it can come up with an answer faster. So if I need to research something, I can go ahead and go to link number one, read the document that gives me some other links, number two, and research. And that research may take me an entire day. With AI, I can research something I want to talk about in an hour. But why am I able to do that? Because I can quickly get to all the people who, over the decades, over the millennia, has placed all that information into the ethos space. Google is digitizing just about every book ever written. And all of that is online. And now we can search All this stuff online, we can give them degrees of certainty, degrees of reliability, degrees of authority, so that we can plausibly say this answer is better than that answer. Just like I would do when I'm pulling documents down. If I see a document comes from a right-wing site, I know that it's likely incorrect. If I see a document that comes from a left-wing site, I might know it has a certain kind of a bias. But all of that is all of our knowledge. Now, there are a lot of implications with that. And I'm going to get back to JD Vance and regulations in a minute and the super boys, okay? All of that is basic knowledge that all of you put out there. So you are an integral part of the knowledge base that AI uses. But what AI does, as an activist, I write a lot of articles that I want to put in the ethos so that other people can read and we can also educate ourselves and learn about economics, learn about how capitalism works, how democratic socialism works, how all these things work. I want people to understand these concepts and I research it. I can do a whole lot more research and put out a whole lot more stuff because of AI. What that means, however, is that whereas as my activism grow, I may have hired 3 or 4 people that are doing research and finding out laws that are being passed, etc. I no longer need to hire 3 or 4 researchers. Why? Because I have AI to do the research, right? And I am paying Chat GPT, and I may purchase another one as well, but I'm paying Chat GPT, I don't know, $30, $40 a month or so. That gives me access to the chat box to do research. But I'm not paying somebody the let's say 40 person hours at a minimum of $20 an hour to do that work. So as you can see, the scales are huge, and it means that there are 4 people that normally would have had jobs that will not have jobs. And you're telling me you don't want regulations on AI. We need regulations on AI for things like the following. Those techno bros who paid people to create the algorithms that searches a database of all our combined data. They pay those guys one time, and then as those algorithms work and work and work to answer the queries I make and other researchers make, they just repeat the stuff, repeat and go, repeat and go. Normally, we would have human beings doing that work. Now, why do we need regulations? Well, we need to take into account that that knowledge came from all of us. And as such, those people that would have had work that don't have work, and when I say those people, I'm talking about everybody, right? We need to change an economic system that takes that into account. Meaning, now that we have this technology, there are several things that we should regulate. Likely work hours should drop by a bunch. Also, the increase in people's salary should go up by a bunch. Also, we should start looking into things like basic income. People may say, well, how are we going to give basic income? Are you talking about giving money to people that are not working or that don't work? No, people are working. People, all this technology that we have out there, all of you form a part of that technology that was created. You are the raw material. So if Elon Musk and AI and all the AI, the open AI guys out there, when they're mining data, mining, you mine for gold, you mine for carbon, you mine for diamonds, you mine for all these things, all of that thing that they are mining is you. So when somebody says, I don't agree with basic income, they're pretty much saying, I don't agree with taking your knowledge and paying for it. Because as a society, we are the body of knowledge. What they are trying to do, what JD Vance is trying to tell the rest of the world, is what capitalism has done all of the times: abstract the pain, and a few live very, very well. Folks, understand, if what I'm saying isn't very well understood, I beg you to call in and ask specifics, because this is deeper than most of us will ever understand, or, well, we will understand, but most of us realize where they're going with it. The idea is this new technology is coming out. It's going to make a lot of people obsolete because we don't need a lot of people anymore. And what that means is the persons or people or countries that control this technology, they can go ahead and do as they please. They are monarchs, and everybody becomes the enslaved, like we are becoming right now. And my thing is that we must have regulations. We must have regulations that put the humanity and realize that it is us who are responsible for AI. Even the designers, even the programmers, their knowledge came from our tax dollars that have invested in the institution of learning that have allowed them to attain what they're attaining. On our chat, welcome aboard Billy Allison Ray, Allison Dreams from Summerwood. Welcome Eric Hayes from Atascocita, Kingwood. Welcome Glenn Ryan. Welcome Paul Fleming from Glenn Ryan from Austin, Texas. Glenn Ryan from Atlanta, Georgia. Let's see, Mark Curtis. I'm not sure where you're from, but welcome to Politics Done Right. All right. So, folks, bottom line, we have to wake up. Yes, we must be woke. The reason why they are going against wokeism, because again, all wokeism means is that you are woke. They won't pull something over your head. You are awake and you know what's going on. You are educated. They want to keep you dumb. They want to keep you asleep. You need to be woke. Is wokeism good? Wokeism is not only good, wokeism is essential, especially in these times. So I'm going to go to the phones, and if anybody has anything that they need to ask about what I'm talking about, if I wasn't clear, a lot of times I kind of get into the weeds. Please force me to make it clear. All right, let's go to Brother Johnny.
A theoretical good Tuesday morning to you, and yes, you were very clear. I understood you perfectly, as usual.
Thank you, brother.
Uh, Unfortunately, the previous program, Arnie Arneson, she does an excellent program, but this morning, in listening to one of her three guests, I don't recall which one it was. It wasn't one of her usual guests, so one of the new guys. Anyway, I found him to be a little disappointing and frustrating. And if I had the capacity to be able to call into her program in real time, because her program is delayed by 2 days, I would have shared with him 3 phone numbers of Chuck Schumer. This guy's in politics, right? He's professional. And he's talking about all the things that he did to interact as a citizen, including calling Chuck Schumer's Washington, D.C. phone number. And as you may or may not recall, I have in the past shared with you his phone number in Washington, and I've told you that Chuck Schumer, ironically, who's supposed to be the minority leader of the Democratic Party in the Senate, his voicemail does not operate off hours. You have to call during business hours, which is really strange. He acts like a Republican when it comes to that unfriendly userness. Not user-friendly, put it that way. But here is his 3 phone numbers, his field office numbers, which this guy should have known about. The Albany phone number is 518, area code 518, 431 4070, 431 4070. That's the 518 area code Albany number. the Buffalo number. That's the one that I call. I don't even bother to call his Washington, D.C. number because it don't work unless I'm calling when they're open. And I usually press the pound when I'm done, and I get to listen to my playback so I can hear that I recorded my message correctly and clearly. Anyway, the Buffalo number is area code 716-846-4111. 846-4111. That's the 716 area code Buffalo number. And the third, the Syracuse number, is area code 315-423-5471. 423-5471, area code 315. So that guy should have known, hey, senators and representatives, they have field office phone numbers, not just the 202-224-6542 number that Chuck Schumer has. Okay, his 202-224-6542 is his Washington, D.C. phone number. But be advised, if you call him in the early morning or the late afternoon when you hear something or see something that he's done to offend you, be advised you're going to have to wait until office hours to call. But why? Your taxpayer money pays for those field office phones, so use them. That's what I have to say. And the next time I call Egberto's program later this week, hopefully, I will demonstrate one of the things you can do when you leave a voicemail message.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. Anything else? All right, let's go to Bruce. Come on in, Bruce.
Good morning, Egberto.
Good morning, my brother. Talk to me.
Yesterday, somebody criticized you for not being an absolutist. I want to defend you with a very quick history lesson. When the idea first came out that microorganisms could cause disease, the leading scholar of the day, who never looked through a microscope, microscopes were a new thing, thought, what do you mean? Little invisible critters with their little heads are all forming an army and deciding which disease they want to call? He goes, wait a minute, we're already fighting people that believe in witches and spells, and you're telling us some invisible thing is causing disease? He goes, in all my years of teaching medicine, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. The skeptics of the day, however, while living their life according to the evidence available, started saying, let's get our hands on these microscopes and let's take a look and see if there's anything there. And they tested tissue samples from both the dead, the sick, and the healthy, and they amended their view according to the new evidence, just like Dr. Fauci amended his view as new evidence came in. That's one reason I get up at 6 in the morning to listen to this program, is because when someone calls you and calls into you, first thing you ask them when they say something crazy is, well, give me your evidence. And then you tell them, this is the evidence I have. Or if they call in and it's something you haven't heard before, you say, I'll have to look into that. All right, you're taking a scientific approach, which is one reason I get up at 6 in the morning to listen to you. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you so kindly, my brother. I appreciate that.
Secular, being a humanist is not bad. Keeping an open mind is not bad.
Thank you. I appreciate you, my brother. You keep listening and keep calling, and please sharing as well, my friend. Okay?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, brother. All right, let's go to Alistair. Is this my sister from Conroe, Texas? Alistair? Okay, Alistair once. Alistair, you may be on mute. So let's say going once, going twice. All right, Alistair, give me a call back. If I know you're probably getting the kids ready, etc. Give me a call back, Alistair. Let's go to Ray.
Hey, Egberto.
Good morning, my brother. Talk to me.
Hermano.
¿Cómo estás?
Yeah, first I want to highlight, thank you for showing that video. I know it's in your archive with my good friend of the criminal courts, Judge Natalia Cornelio.
Natalia Cornelio, yes.
Yeah, she gives me a big hug every time I see her. So that's the type of friend we need in the courts, as, we see the erosion of what is supposed to be the rule of law. Now, that's not what I called in about. I wanted to call in to speak specifically to your earlier statement with the AI. And what I really see and what I, unfortunately predict, as your good friend and economist Richard Wolff has been saying, this is basically, the erosion of the very fabric. I have two cats, okay? And what my cats love to do is play with, you know, threads and things. And just if you could imagine the very fabric of our country being, you know, toyed with like a thread by a cat, and it's just a matter of time before that thread unravels, and then you no longer have an article of clothing that's recognizable. Now, I'm rambling, so let me get to the point here. The point I'm making is what I see with Elon Musk and this AI fiasco is the acceleration of what you have been mentioning is what antiseptic slavery. And unfortunately, the greater masses of people who probably aren't as in tune with the news around the world like we are just going to continue to work, but they're going to notice that certain opportunities are just not going to be available. And unfortunately, there are certain people that's just going to accept it because they've already bought into the antiseptic slavery that we currently have under neoliberalism. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that, brother.
I think you nailed it, and that is what I am hoping that we can mitigate, Ray. And it goes as follows. You said, as you mentioned, there are those who are simply going to acquiesce to it, right? They're going to say, well, that's just how things are. It is just like how a lot of folks in Detroit felt when robotics came into the fold, right? Robotics killed hundreds of thousands of jobs. I mean, they were consistent. They could build cars consistently well. They don't get sick or anything. A lot of people feared robotics. I said, embrace robotics, but let's make it that now the people who would work in factories, a lot of things can happen. The price of cars could drop, as well as the people's pay could increase, as well as the work week should decrease. These are the things we should say as we advance as a society. All of us should be benefiting from the spoils. To think that we are independent, that somehow, to think that I am independently smarter than X, Y, or Z, it's a figment of one's imagination. There is so much that goes on into building. We look, you know what I hate the most, Ray? When I hear somebody call uh, Elon Musk a genius, or that he has so much intelligence more so than most. The only thing that he's a genius in is in capitalism, and capitalism doesn't require much genius. Donald Trump is a billionaire, and because of capitalism, in other words, he did nothing but look. Hey, guess what, Ray? He's really a billionaire now. His coin, is worth over $6 billion. Okay, his uh, cryptocurrency. So finally, hey, he's really a billionaire now, but he hadn't done anything for it.
I want to deport that illegal alien back to his home. I don't think it's South Africa. I think that's where his pod landed, but he's really from Mars and he's trying to get back. That's what I really believe. And he's trying to take us all with him.
Hey, that's why he's building all the rockets, man. Come on, come on. Anyway, but look, Ray,
that's his
yeah, but look, what you brought up is a very important concept that I hope people understand, right? And that is, we should never just accept it. We should just accept that AI is here, a whole lot of jobs are going to be gone. I gave my personal experience with AI and what it likely has cost. In other words, I can my politics done right and all the other stuff that I do in activism, I can do it at a low cost because of AI, but at doing it at a low cost with AI means that other people that I would have been able to hire would have cost me a lot more, would have had to raise a whole lot more money. So on an individual basis, for me, hey, it's great. But on a macro level, it's not great at all unless we change the rules of society with basic income and other forms of making sure that society continues to grind. Did I make sense there, Ray?
No, you talking my language. It's basically we have to fix the rules so it works for the working class. I hear you. Loud and clear,
Exactly.
bro.
Well, thank you, my brother. Anything else you want to add before we move on?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I can't think of the movie or the actor, but a good black actor said something, and I think me and you can both agree on this. It's morning. Y'all hearing all this? Wake up, god dang it. That's all
And
I
there
got
you
to
go.
say.
Thank you, my brother. Anyway, folks, telephones are available 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. They are all available right now. Alistair Waters said she had to run. Thank you, Alistair, for placing that in the chat. Gayla Kunis says, good morning from Evans, Georgia. Good morning, Gayla Kunis. How are you doing? I have to remember that for the afternoon show. Melanie Keelan is in. She says, good morning from Barcelona, Spain. And Joe is in. She says, good. Your hours are so crazy in LA. Sorry. I have a listener in LA, Joanna oh wow, that's 4 in the morning, sister. Thank you for getting up in the morning to do this. Paul Fleming says, according to the data made public by the Office of Management and Budget, the funding, 6.75 million so far, came in two chunks of $750,000. What are we talking about, Paul? Let's see. With the Trump administration warning career lawyers to follow orders even if they have ethical qualms, pressure is building on professional legal associations to take a stance against efforts to upend long-standing norms of public service. Look, folks, we have to remain engaged. Now, one of the reasons that I started the program on AI, and again, folks, the number is 713-526-5738. Don't wait till the end. It's at 6:36 right now. Call in now if there's something you want to speak about. 713-526-5738. The article, what is the mainstream media missing about Elon Musk? He is instituting technocracy. Now, it's hard to see articles about the move fast and break things approach of the Trump administration without also hearing about the hovering presence, the world's richest man, technocrat extraordinaire Elon Musk. The mainstream media likes to describe Musk primarily as an oligarch. His involvement, which now includes having a desk in the White House, is rather alarming event and something hardly anyone expected. Unfortunately, most media reports are lacking an important perspective about this unexpected bestowal of power, of political power to him and other technocratic oligarchs. Is this a deliberate omission, or do many media outlets simply have blinders on because, in their perception, big tech is now fundamental to Wall Street economy and national security? You just nailed it, Mr. Tom Vallovic. The reason why the mainstream media isn't putting the stuff like just talked about AI, like I just spoke about the techno bros, is because of just that. They are putting millions of dollars, billions of dollars into ads on these mainstream media stations, billions of dollars into our political realm. So our politics is they're very, very concerned in how they report. They're very concerned in letting you know that you are and should be already empowered. So that is the answer. Musk is a true technocrat and represents the forefront of a new technocratic form of government that we are hurtling toward at light speed. However, the notion of technocratic governance is simply not on the radar screen of the MSM, various political think tanks, and Congress. That's not true. It is on their radar. They just don't talk about it. We talk about it here. They rarely, if at all, talk about it. And we must, because Americans in despair will have rather interesting behaviors. All right? Now, folks, please. Okay, Betty, come on in, Betty. Folks, the telephone number is 713-526-5739. Again, that number is 713-526-5739. Whoa, I just lost my train of thought. Anyway, come on in, Betty. Talk to me.
Okay. Yeah. Good morning, Alberto.
Good morning,
Uh,
sister.
AI goes, yeah, on AI, it goes to the back of the book for the answers. People work hard to put the answers there, and in AI cheats. and we got to keep them regulated. They use electronics, not good people. We have to. What we have to watch out for now is our three things that we are on death watch for is the electronics and the global warming and Trump. He uses his muscle to bring us to our knees. Love y'all. Bye bye.
Thank you very much, sis. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Anyway, folks, she just brought up something that is rather important, right? Uh, it is that all this AI, remember I told you that it runs a lot faster than our own minds, right? But here's the thing, it takes a lot of energy. And when I talk about energy, I'm talking about a ton of energy. Anyway, folks, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. And we have now the people talking about nuclear power again because these computers use so much energy that we are going to have, the grid is going to have to be redone. It's interesting because Deep Seek that came out as a competitor to Chatbox and OpenAI and other AI products, they have come out with their technology that seems to be just as good, if not better, but at the same time, use a lot less computing power. So we'll see what happens there. Let's go to Anthony. Anthony, line number one.
Yes, good morning. I've been listening to your program. Actually, this is the first time that I've listened to it. But I'm interested in the topic of AI. I'm not very knowledgeable of it. But the key with AI and Elon Musk, it's interesting that somebody like Elon Musk has been, in my opinion, been given the keys to the kingdom, basically going in and having access to the Treasury Department and the Department of Education. It's my understanding he's going to be going to the VA if he hasn't already got there. I'm a veteran, so that concerns me that he has access to that information. And I'm sure he's using AI, doing all that stuff, gathering all that information. So my concern is, I understand that AI is a good thing, but it can also be used in a negative way. And this technology to be used against United States citizens with somebody that has the money and the power and the abilities to gather that information, to me, that's very concerning.
And it should, Anthony, let me give you some, and I'm glad that you brought that up because what you brought up is extraordinarily important. First of all, as someone in the VA, I imagine that you served in the military, so I'm not only thankful for your service, but I want to make sure that you're compensated for your service. Unlike those who give you the hurrah, hurrah, thank you for your service, but they give you not a damn thing. But here's the deal. You're absolutely right. AI has the ability now, first of all, understand that this stuff worked in pieces. They encourage us to put all we live online now. You vote online, you get your voting stuff, you can do all this stuff online, you can purchase online, you can do all this. So the computer systems around the world know everything there is to know about you, which means they can create models about you. AI can have an idea of the things that you do. If you make a mistake somewhere in your IRS form that normally would go unnoticed for your lifetime can come to pass right away. If AI decides to concentrate on you, Anthony, every good thing, every bad thing that you've ever done, everything that nobody knows about, just you and your computer system knows about, AI can find it because it can do what's deep seeking on everything, right? So when we have politicians and think tanks talk about not regulating AI, it absolutely makes no sense. AI must be regulated not only from the standpoint of what it can release, but from the standpoint of who benefits from getting paid from it. So you should be worried, but it's not just being worried. It's about not releasing your power to force the politicians to do what needs to be done, which is regulate it. So again, you understand the problem. Now we just have to work together for the solution.
I
Anything
agree.
else? Is there anything else that I didn't answer, or is that good enough?
No, no, you're doing a great job. I'm going to continue to listen, and thank you for the interesting topics that you're bringing forward.
Thank you so kindly, my brother. You have a wonderful rest of your day. And let's go to Derek. Come on in, Derek.
Hey, good morning. You know, Bertha, you brought something up that everybody really needs to hear. Did you all know that old DEI Abbott is getting together a group talking about bringing nuclear energy to this area, talking about
Mm,
building a small reactor?
yes,
This is very
yes.
important. Look, these people, I don't call them DEI for no reason. They're dumb executive ignorance that they're spreading. And I'm telling y'all, man, if this fool sit here and get away with doing something like that without you all knowing, you see what he done to the border. You see how much money he sat there and was paying for people to go to New York, to California. You know what? I think Chicago and all
Yeah.
these areas like DEI sanctuary cities. But nobody, Alberto, had pulled out the actual numbers on just how much money was lost for him doing something stupid like that. Because all he did was just release a whole bunch of people into the country and thinking they doing smart, being smart.
But
That's
here's the
all,
other
bro.
thing. Here, wait, Derek. There's another thing that he's doing, right? That folks don't realize. You could have put a lot of, let's say that's all you wanted to do, right? You could have just thrown these people on
Mm-hmm.
buses and sent them to places A, B, and C. But what he did is he gave his friends money. They went ahead and housed them. They went ahead and flew them to different places. Look, let's understand what's going on here. This immigration thing is nothing more than a what would I call it? A ruse, right? I mean, it's a grift. It's a way of
Mm-hmm.
making money for
Right.
their friends. They use the undocumented folks as raw material to get their friends building detention centers, building concentration camps, feeding them. I mean, it's all a racket. All of these things is the biggest purge on the taxpayer there is. And what my goal is that we all stay informed to understand what they are actually doing to us, Derek. And we have to take command. We have to
Right.
elect the right people. We are still empowered to do that, and we must act. Thank you, Derek. Anything else?
Yes, yeah. You know, Roberto, you have always said this, that racism is dumb. Racists come up with some of the most dumbest of things, and they think they really smart. Just like I say about Elon Musk and Trump's love affair. Sounds like muskrat love to me.
I'm
See,
gonna show you something, Derek. I want to show you something, right?
yeah.
Think if
Go ahead.
are you a black guy?
Yes, I am.
Okay, here's the thing. Let's say Musk looked like you, and you were born in let me use in Nigeria. Okay? Do
Uh huh.
you think you would have been Donald Trump's right hand?
Oh, definitely not.
I bring this up for one reason. Musk is everything Donald Trump hates, except for his
Right.
pigmentation. Think about it. He was once an undocumented person in America, according to his brother. That we're talking about Elon
Yeah.
Musk. He came from South Africa, okay, and he can many a times he upstages Donald Trump. Think about what's the only thing that has given Elon Musk leverage. What he looks like.
Oh, he paid him.
That's it. Nothing
Yeah.
else. I mean, anyway, thank you, my brother.
Yes.
You have a wonderful rest of your day. All right, let's go to Brian. Come on in, Brian.
Yeah. the more we find out about USAID aid, the better it becomes for exposing the corruption that the left wing loves to forget about. The man has found out so far like $541 billion in illegal funds being spent, and you hate the man. Shouldn't you expose corruption? It's your tax money. It's my tax money. And the left wing hates him now because of it. And you had to bring race into this problem, didn't you? You absolutely cannot hold a conversation without race. And those Mexican immigrants, they asked to go to Chicago. They asked to go to New York City or Denver. They didn't ask to go to Vidalia, Louisiana, or Augusta, Georgia, where there's farms. They wanted to go to the big cities to get their programs. Why do you have to bring race into everything? Do you hate this country this much?
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right. First of all, my brother, anybody who asks me, why do I have to bring race into anything, has to be naive. Okay? Because if you think I can walk through America and not bring race into it, you have colored glasses on. That's number one. Number two, Elon Musk claims to be finding all of this waste, but he's yet to identify any one substantive wasteful thing. The thing about it is this: USAID all around the world, we know the good work that USAID does. Every governmental program, every private sector program has made up of people, have a certain percentage of people that are doing bad things. And it's easy to highlight those bad things and try to make that a reflection of that business. It is completely wrong. To put it bluntly, it is asinine. And what Elon Musk is doing will come home to roost America. I have more callers, but I made you say whatever you had to say, and I said it with you uninterruptedly. Thank you, and let's go to Alistair as she's back. Alistair, my sister, talk to me.
Hey, sorry about earlier. Good morning. So I love how Brian is like, yeah, see, this is a perfect example of waste. Hello, Governor Abbott doing the thing, flying the grist of shipping undocumented to various cities in our country, using our tax dollars for it to support his friends. Yeah. Go ahead, Brian. Where are your numbers? I'm sorry.
Look, you nailed it, Alistair.
No receipts. Bring them next time, Brian. That's it. That's all I had to say. Oh,
Alice,
no.
yes,
One more
yeah.
thing. We got to get the doggy boys out of Washington. Our data is our most valuable asset right now. And they have access to our data. You're going to talk about that. You got to think about that. You got to put your voice out there and protect your data.
Thank you, sister. Appreciate you. Let's get back to Johnny. Johnny, come on in.
Brian, why are you always feeling the need to defend Donald Trump, a known carcinogen? He's a known carcinogen, a lifelong con man and career criminal, whereas Egberto is not bringing things up out of his backside. We are responding to what your party, your people, your tribe do almost on a daily basis based on race hate. Hello.
Johnny, there's one thing that always gets me, right? And I hope Brian come around at some time. Donald Trump and these right wingers do not give a hoot about guys like him. They laugh at guys like him. We give him respect here. He can call in every day and say whatever he wants. He couldn't. They won't give him. They wouldn't even think to even give him a hug. If I see Brian, I'll give Brian a big manly manly hug. I mean,
I
look,
won't go that far.
look. No, I'm just saying that's who I am. Okay, I care about the dude. Okay, Donald
Well,
Trump doesn't give a rat's you know what about him. In fact, Donald Trump behind his back has told his rich people, we like them dumb. I mean, he disparages guys like Brian, and we have Brian. And when I talk about the enslaved mind, that's what I'm talking about. Anything else, Johnny? I got to go to the studio.
yes. One last thing, Brian. Remember that when I hate on Donald Trump, my loving to hate Donald Trump is actually an expression of love for you and normal people.
Exactly.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. All right, let's get back to the geniuses in LS studio.
Well, we're still looking for those geniuses, but Jack and I are here. I'm just waiting for Doge to be going through the Pentagon. They're going to find a lot of waste over there. And we also want them to go through the Supreme Court. When Doge gets released, when Doge gets released on the Supreme Court, there you're going to find a lot of corruption. So that's my 2 cents. Jack, you got anything? Jack says no. Take it home, Egberto.
Jack doesn't have anything. He scares me when he doesn't have anything. Anyway, look, folks.
He's the quiet genius.
I know, the quiet genius. Look, guys, let me tell you
The
something.
quiet beetle. He's the quiet genius.
He's a quiet genius. Hey, look, guys, love you all. Keep calling, keep listening, keep sharing. Look, this stuff is some important stuff that we talk about. We can't buy into what they're selling us on a lot of these networks. We have to think on our own. We have to be proactive and we have to move forward. Remember, the rest of the show is at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out!